Welcome to As the Story Grows. I'm Brian Patton. Today we welcome Sick Puppies drummer Mark Goodwin to the podcast. The new Sick Puppies record, Wave the Bull, came out last Friday on OneRPM. Mark and I talked back in November, so there's a lot of conversation about looking forward, and you're hearing this after the record has been released. Mark talks about growing up in Southern California, getting his musical footing in church, deciding to move forward as a band with the new vocalist, the scene for a mainstream rock band, and more. It was fun getting to edit and revisit this conversation with Mark, as it had been a while since we chatted, and I hope you guys really like this conversation. Thanks so much for listening to As the Story Grows. If you're brand new to the podcast, welcome. Thanks for checking us out. If you want to know more or come hang out, you can find links in our show notes for our podcast mailing list, our community over on Discord, or for our Patreon page, where you can support the show financially and get early access to every episode. And if you like what you hear and aren't subscribed, I would love it if you subscribe to the podcast on your podcast platform of choice. Enjoy today's conversation with Mark Goodwin of Sick Puppies.
Woke up with blood on my shirt, my head spinning like I probably said a few stupid things. I'm late for work, but somehow I don't give a shit. And besides, my job really fucking stinks. I'm on the brink of letting...
No, I said because you guys haven't put out a record since 2016, is that why the press campaign for this new album has started so early?
Well, yeah, I mean... Yeah, it's been at this point, it's more of just like a kind of a, I guess, like a return comeback type of thing. You know, it's been, I mean, by the time the album comes out, it'll be almost 8-9 years. And yeah, just a lot's happened, I guess. Obviously, you know, the thing that affected everyone, COVID and all that stuff happened. And we had most of the songs written before that. So we were kind of excited to put them out like, you know, that year or the next. And then it just, you know, everything happened, life happened. You know, just it is what it is. Like, you know, stuff happens. So it took a while, and then we just had a bunch of songs. I mean, the good thing is we had a bunch of songs written, and we were able to take a long time to kind of choose the right ones to put on the album. And so we had to, we took a while to do that, which was kind of nice because we hadn't had that before. I guess was just like the time to kind of reflect on it and like just kind of take our time to choose the songs we wanted.
Yeah. Nice. Was there ever a point where you were like, okay, these songs are so old that we just want to throw them out and start fresh? Or was it just like a belief in them and just refining them? Yeah.
I mean, I think you go through kind of all that when you're in the process, right? Like there was maybe moments for all of us where it was like, man, we should just like get in there and just kind of start over maybe. But then we're like, man, we put so much work into all those songs for that. Because it was about a 3-year period where we kind of were touring and writing a lot and stuff. So, we just kind of were like, let's just trust our gut on some of the stuff we did already, and then just, you know, and go with them, you know. So that's kind of mostly what we did was they were mostly older songs. And like I said before, we took more time to kind of reflect on it and stuff. And there was some songs, maybe there was a couple of things where it was like, maybe that's not relevant anymore. This is a little bit whatever. But like for the most part, it was like pretty, you know, it was almost the opposite where it was like, it almost was so much time that it came around, you know, it almost came around again where things were more relevant again and stuff like that. You know, I guess it worked out.
Yeah. And maybe an unfortunate side effect that things were relevant again.
Or fortunate. I mean,
fortunate for the album. Both, where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Orange County. It's in Southern California. It's like an hour south of LA. I'm in LA now, but like Emma's here and our manager's here, and Brian's in Houston. He was here for a while, but he was in Texas right now. And I don't know, like being a band, you can kind of be anywhere though. But I grew up in Southern California.
Were you a skateboarder? Are you a skateboarder still?
I know I'm wearing like a Thrasher mag. No, I did. I was more of like a little like surfer, like Grom kid, but like, yeah, like kind of stereotypical Southern California thing, I guess, really. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, and then I found music, and that was like it, So
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. What was your gateway into, I don't know, music obsession? I mean, there's no shortage in.
I grew up like, it's funny. I grew up playing like in churches, like Christian churches. Like, there's like we have like some mega churches down here, not like Texas, but a church called Saddleback Church, and was like, like I grew up there and just playing, and it was cool because like the music program was great because you would play in front of like hundreds of kids, and there was a full stage lighting and production, and like I was in high school and playing already like what would be equivalent to like a pretty big show, I guess. So that was like a definitely like groomed me pretty good for like playing in rock band. It wasn't sort of so much of a rock vibe, but it was, it was fun. It was a good way to like play in front of people and get that like sort of, get that under your belt, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. What drew you to drums?
Oh man, I just loved like, watching and listening to just the drums, and I remember the first time I saw drums, I was like fascinated by the look of them. And that's kind of what drew me in, just like the aesthetics of the actual drums and stuff, which was pretty cool. But, and then just learning from like watching, like back then it wasn't like YouTube. You had to like go to Guitar Center and buy a DVD or whatever, or VHS.
VHS. Yeah.
But, so like, getting those videos and watching them, and just like never really took lessons or anything, just like kind of learning. It's definitely an instrument where you can learn kind of on your own, and just as long as you're like, you can watch people, and you can like, you just listen to the instrument itself, but it's kind of started for me.
I would watch people play, and I was like, I think I could play drums, and just like you pick it up. The hardest.
You got a drum set right there behind you, though, so you play, right?
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
I'm jealous because I don't have a space to play like that, so I have to like go to like place. I don't have a place at home to do that. So that's awesome.
There goes the neighbor.
What was your transition from playing in churches to like trying to play in bands?
Played in bands kind of at the same time too. Like, just played in like, I know I just brought up the church thing. I think that was more of just to like at a younger age to like to know what it's like to like play in front of people and stuff. But like definitely played like shows and stuff. Played at high school, and we used to play our high school a lot and stuff like that at lunchtime or whatever. But played in like just local bands and around Orange County, and we would play like Battle of the Bands in like San Diego and LA and stuff, and just do that like local stuff or whatever. And like just, I guess, I'm still friends with like all the guys I played in bands with back in the day and stuff too. So like just kind of that vibe. I think everyone kind of starts like that, just jamming with your friends, and it's kind of how you pick instruments too. When you're a kid, you're like, you get in the room and you're like, what should I do? If a kid doesn't, it's like, oh, just try pick up that bass or pick up that guitar,
right?
Whoever kind of like is more drawn to it and kind of naturally talented towards it kind of gets the job, so.
yeah. Let's fast forward. How do you get connected with Sick Puppies?
Sick Puppies, I graduated high school, and then I moved to LA, and I was like 19, about 20. Then I met them like a year later. So I was like 2021 when I met Emma and Shim, our old singer at the time, and our manager, Paul, who's still our manager. And like they were just, it was like anything else, like, I still actually have it, the original like ad on the a rehearsal place. I was at the local one. It's called like Amp Rehearsal up the street here, which I still go to this day. But like there was just like an ad there saying like, you know, be a drummer, blah blah blah. You know, like the stereotypical kind of ad for a musician band spot. You know, and theirs just stuck out to me because I heard the song. They had a song called "Fly," and I remember hearing that for the first time, and it was like one of their old demo or songs they had in Australia, and I didn't even know they were from Australia at the time. And then talked to the manager, and I was like, "Oh, he's got an accent," and yeah. Then just jammed with them. I was like, just like anything else, like they had been jamming with tons of people, and I was just another guy. And yeah, like we just kind of hit it off from the beginning. And then it was just a process of like them trying out more people and stuff. And I kind of just was like really determined to kind of keep my head in the game and stuff. And, you know, like get the gig, you know? So, yeah, it's still like the only band I've ever really played with to this day, almost 20 years later. So
nice.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah. When Shimon decided to step down in 2014, did you guys think the band was done, or was there always this mindset of like, okay, we can just, I mean, lead singers, they're the heartbeat of the band a lot of times. Like, without going like too much into like what happened and stuff, I guess like we always wanted to keep the band going and stuff. And yeah, like there was, me and Emma were like determined to just kind of keep it going, and we found Brian pretty quick and put out an album pretty quick, and we were just kind of like definitely determined to keep it going because we again, without going into much detail, we just, you know, there's people are going to say what they're going to say about that, you know. no one I mean, you know, you read I try not to read too many comments, but no one actually knows. I mean, if they actually knew, they wouldn't say anything. So, but you know, it's one of those things. But we were just determined to keep going, and we had built that brand up and the band up for so long, and just put so much hard work into it. So we just didn't want to let it die, you know. So, we were just determined to keep it going. We found Brian pretty quick and made the first album with him, Fury, pretty quick, and unfortunately it's taken longer to do the second album, but it is what it is. But yeah I was reading either an article or an old press release around that time, mentioned that Brian had reached out to the band when he heard you were in need of a vocalist. How'd you connect with him, and was it just like somebody reaching out and taking the initiative that you were drawn to that, or was there a long process to figure out a new vocalist and kind of gel? Yeah, like he did reach out. He reached out to Emma, I think on like Facebook or something, and he kind of was the only. I think there was some other people reaching out, but he was the one that kind of stuck out and stuff. And we did like actual tryouts in LA and with me and Emma here, but like he was in he was in Texas at the time, and he came out pretty quick, like because after he had hit Emma, you know, told me about him and stuff, and we looked him up, and he had just like kind of like us, we had grown up in bands playing, and he had been in a lot of like pretty well-known like local bands and throughout Houston and Texas and like that whole region. So we liked his voice and he could play guitar. We, you know, for us it was like a more of a challenging thing because it's like we're a 3-piece band, and you got to be able to play guitar sufficiently and sing sufficiently while you're playing guitar and all that stuff. So it's that like thing where it's not just a guitar player, not just a singer. You got to have both. So yeah, he had both, and we jammed with him, and it gelled pretty quick. And then it was a pretty fast process looking back. Yeah, which is good. You know, sometimes bands have to go through that pain of either auditioning or the new guy. Sure. We definitely did like auditions that, you know, it just, you know, you go through a lot of things that don't work, and you know, that's fine. You just find what works, and then you guys are working with OneRPM for this new release. How'd you get connected with them? Our manager made the
the connection, and then we were stoked. They're a great home for us. I think now it's in this kind of day and age where it's a new way. You know, there's still like the major labels and all that, and there's a lot of bands that are still. And we were on a major label for a long time, and that was great for us. But now I think we found a home with RPM and OneRPM, and it's great. Like, it's not, you know, we have more control over our music and all that stuff. So like, and I say in the creative direction and all that stuff. So a lot of times you don't have as much control on a major label. So for us, it's working out great. Yeah.
Because been around a while, the music industry has shifted so much over that time. Is it like, I don't know, because you've had this time off between records, has the approach to releasing music like changed and been difficult for you guys to kind of wrap your head in from, 2016 to now, or 2006 to now?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a lot of it's changed for sure. It's definitely like the new thing with OneRPM is definitely like a new direction for us. We've never been sort of independent before, so this is kind of the first time, which is great. And like, it's definitely changed over the years since our last album. It's been 8 years or whatever, so it's like definitely a lot. But I think for us it works for us. I think it's every band or artist is different, so you just got to do what's right for you. And for us, we're more of like, we've been around for a while, more of like, I mean, not like, I wouldn't say like an established act, but we've been like around for a while. So we have a little bit, a little bit more say, I guess, and what we want to do and where we want to go. So like, we just wanted that kind of more freedom, I guess, for us, so. Yeah.
With the nature of streaming and the rise of YouTube, singles or releasing every song on a record as singles has become more normative. Is that like an approach where you're working on the label, like the right balance of what to share before the record comes out, or you're kind of hands off on that? Yeah,
we're pretty hands on with that. Like, and we definitely want to, by the time the album comes out, we're hopefully going to have like 4, 5, 6 songs out. Like, I mean, that was the plan, but we'll see. And, typically but most artists, a lot of people just put out singles, which is great too. And that's kind of more like the realm that a lot of people go. And I think today's day and age, you can kind of do whatever. I think, as a band, I think more bands are sticking to albums and stuff. But yeah, like we try to, we released our first single, There Goes the Neighborhood. We're on our second single, Going Places. And our new single, Going Places, is kind of our first like radio campaign at Active Rock Radio. So that's going well. It's got a good start with that. And we're, doing that whole thing again, which is great because we've always been a radio kind of rock band, so that's kind of been our thing. So, but yeah, as far as singles go, in creativity goes, like we definitely have the say in what singles are released and everything like that. So it's good. But yeah, hopefully we're definitely going to, for us, we're releasing more songs for sure than normal. I mean, because it used to be just you release a single and then go to radio and then your album comes out, then all your songs are out, then, whatever. But like now it's like, you got to put out a decent amount of songs before, the album comes out, I think. So yeah, I think that's our plan, hopefully. So. You'll get what you deserve. You're gonna crash and burn, and I can't take anymore, 'cause now I know who you are. You bring me down.
New album is called Wave the Bull. Where'd the kind of title and concept for the album come from?
It's called Wave the Bull. We just, funny story, like a couple years ago, maybe when we were kind of throwing ideas around, Emma always had this idea of like a title of Way of the Bull. And then, we were just, I don't know, like we just got thrown around so many times and different interpretations. It became Wave the Bull because it kind of sounds like that. And when we talked to other people about it and stuff, it was just kind of like, wave, it just kind of morphed into that. But yeah, as far as, that's kind of story about the title, whatever. But yeah, like, yeah, it's more of like, because we had so much time to kind of reflect on it. Yeah, like some years went by, and yeah, we had more time to reflect, and we were just, it wasn't necessarily, we didn't set out to write like a concept album, but we just kind of came up with an idea of like splitting it up into like 3 kind of categories. Like, first one's like the Omen, the Fight, and the Aftermath, and it's like color coded, black, red, and white, and it's just like a theme of those songs. You know, we did a chunk of 4 songs each in those categories, so we kind of just, we did that like kind of after the fact. You know, we can kind of like reverse engineer the concept of the album kind of thing, because a lot of bands, you know, set out to do concept albums with the theme, the same theme and all that. But this one was kind of like worked a little differently for the concept thing. But yeah, like, we're stoked. We have some cool artwork we're proud of with the flag, with this like red flag, the red. We just wanted to keep it super simple, red and black, you know, and it's the, yeah, we're stoked with the artwork and stuff. We just, yeah, we're trying to keep it very like, yeah, it's simple and like, I don't know. We think it's pretty cool. I don't know. We love like the old, like, we grew up on like Rage Against the Machine and stuff like that. So it's kind of like a throwback to that sort of vibe. But yeah, we're stoked on it.
Yeah. Album's out March, end of March. What is your plan once this record comes out? Are you looking at a big like summer tour next year, or just figuring out what comes?
Yeah, well, we're so not till next year. Yeah, I know it seems like so far away. It's only not even November. I know, almost November. But so yeah, I mean, it's coming up. We're definitely going to be touring next year. We're in the summertime. Yep, we just got the festival in Ohio called Sonic Temple, so that's a big one. We've played that over the years when it was called Rock on the Range, and we've been playing that since like 2009, so we've been there a bunch of times, and just stoked to get back playing it in that reincarnation of Sonic Temple. So yeah, we're excited on that. But yeah, next year definitely touring, getting back to it. It's been a long time, so we're all ready to do it.
Yeah. What's the touring landscape like for more of a, I don't know, quote unquote mainstream rock band? Like, what's that scene like?
For a touring rock band, I mean,
yeah, more.
It's been like I said, it's been a while for us. I mean, it's definitely like, you know, like I said, for us, we're like more of like a radio friendly rock band. So we go in like places where we can do a lot of radio shows and get support from radio and stuff. So, you know, we tour a lot. Like, you know, that festival I mentioned is in the Midwest in Ohio, and the Midwest is kind of our bread and butter. You know, middle America, South, like all that stuff is kind of where we've always lived and felt at home. So we're definitely going to be back in all those territories again. Yeah, man. I mean, it's definitely different. Like, you know, touring it's like everything is, like everyone knows, everything's more expensive now. So it's like definitely harder, like financially, to tour and stuff. But I don't know. We'll see. We keep a very kind of like skeleton crew with us, so we try to do it right and do it. But we still, you know, you gotta give the people what they want with the music and stuff. So, and anyone that knows us, we've always been. I mean, up until like recently, we haven't toured in a while, but for the years we were going hard there for a long time, and you know, we were out like 9, 10, 11 months out of the year every single year. You know, so it's definitely like been our and most rock bands, it's how you can kind of like survive is on the road, you know. So that's definitely been us too, you know. yeah Is radio rock still big and thriving, like I guess in the Midwest or Middle America, because it's kind of shit out here on the East Coast? I mean, I don't know if you can call it big and thriving. It's not like it was, you know. I think we were we were pretty fortunate when we had some success at radio, like, you know, 10, 12 years ago. Like the first big one we had was the song called You're Going Down, which is, you know, still probably our biggest song obviously at radio, but like just in general too, like, you know, back then it was more like you could be on like alternative and rock, and like, and we were on hot AC and top 40 with Maybe and all this stuff. So like, a band like us can never, or anyone can, and that has guitars, like can't really be on top 40 anymore, you know, but we were at this time like in 2009, 10, where it was like, you could still have like a rock band on top 40 and stuff. So, it's just a different landscape now. Yeah. But yeah, and you know, there's not as many stations nowadays and stuff, but like I said, like those markets, those territory, the cities that we love to go back to all the time are always supportive, and those radio stations always support us. So, you know, we'll always like be going back there and playing where people want to see us, you know?
Yeah.